Hey, welcome back to Happy Hour with DJ Kyle. I am your host, sponsored by SRG Financial Advisors, home of the mile marker formula. And you're probably wondering why I am in this costume here. This is my Batman costume, and I thought, I feel like this would be an ideal time to wear this because we are sitting here with Lieutenant Mike O'Day with the Osage Beach Police Department. Mike, thank you so much for joining us today. And I have my onesie on because we're talking about the polar bear plunge that's coming up here pretty soon. And this is, when I think of the polar bear plunge, I think of all these costumes and all the things that people wear. So you've been involved with the polar bear plunge. Why don't you tell us a little bit about the background of the polar bear plunge?
So with the polar bear plunge, it's an annual event. We've been doing it for over 20 years now. It's held at PB2 down the beach by the Grand Glaze Bridge. Mm-hmm. And you can go online and register at Special Olympics Polar Plunge website, and you'll come down and jump in the lake on February 25th.
All right, so now this is all a fundraiser for Special Olympics, and this has been going on at Lake of the Ozarks for over 20 years. I was involved in it several years ago with some of my friends, and it was a cold day. They actually, I believe the time that we went, they had to go and break the ice so that we could do the plunge. So are we expecting a little bit warmer weather this year, or do we know
we're not sure, and what's weird about that is we even have a weather guy that's embedded with the 24-hour plunge, and he can't even tell us what we're expecting this year.
Oh, I see. So it might be a surprise for all of us.
Yes.
So you've done this plunge. How many years have you been doing the plunge?
This will be my 15th year doing the plunge. It'll be my 14th year doing the super plunge.
Okay, so tell us what the super plunge.
Super plunge is 24 jumps into the lake of the Ozarks in 24 hours.
That kind of took my breath away a little bit because I did one in one lifetime, and that was cold. But now they do say there's benefits of this shock to your system and the cold water and stuff. Is that right?
I'm not sure about any benefits.
But it sure does take your breath away, right?
Yes, and I can tell you on those early mornings at that 6, 7 a.m. plunge, if you're not awake when you hit the water, you'll be awake.
Yeah, so how does the 24 plunge in 24 hours work? Like, do you just wake up? Is it you run down, jump in, come back out, and run down, jump in, or do you wait between times?
There's a timeline or schedule per se. So we'll start plunging on Friday the 24th, around 2 o'clock usually.
Yeah.
We'll do 1 or 2 an hour, get a little bit of sleep overnight, and then get back up early in the morning. And we do our last plunge at 2:30 when the regular plunge kicks off.
Really? Now, how many people are expecting to do the super plunge, the 24 in 24?
We have 24 registered so far for this year.
So this is going to be 24 people jumping into the lake 24 times in 24 hours. So this is kind of a big deal.
Yes, it's
24, 24, 24.
It's growing. I remember when it first started, I think there was 8 the first year I did it or something like that.
Yeah.
So it's growing over time, and a lot of money is being raised through it.
Absolutely. Now, how would people get involved? How do they donate? How do they get involved for the polar bear plunge?
So there's several. If you want to donate to a super plunger, there's several of us. You can go on Super Plunge. I believe it's Lake Ozark or Special Olympics and find our pages. Mm-hmm. Or you can go on to their page and register. You can't register for the Super Plunge because you got to go through somebody from Special Olympics.
Gotcha.
Get that. But as long as you go to any of those plunge pages, it will walk you through how to register, get signed up, and it'll tell you about all the events going on that day.
So I kind of look like I'm a super plunger, maybe. Now you would probably suggest not wearing a onesie. Or what's your costume of choice to plunge?
So for me, I don't wear costumes because the water's average 30-some degrees.
That's
so
cold.
When you put all those clothes on like that, it just weighs you down. It takes you longer to get to where you're trying to change into warm clothes.
I see. So take us through a process of you doing a plunge. So you hop down there. I'm sure. Do you have like a robe or a hoodie or something or do you just jump out of your car and go, I'm going to be cold anyhow, might as well start now?
So typically what we do, there's some signs there. We'll have our towels and stuff hanging on them, and we're in hoodies. I've developed the name O'Day Late because typically I'm the last one out of the building. I wait till the diver's in place, and I wait for everything.
That's called smart, is what that is, right? So you're inside looking out the window, being like, all right, I'm nice and warm, everyone's there, and we are ready and go.
Because I know if the divers ain't in the water, I can't get in the water. So there's no reason to be standing out there. But we'll run in. Some guys go all the way, head in. I don't put my head under because that water's cold. It does weird things. So then I get out, and there's places. There's a building down there. We'll go in there, and there's different areas for the guys and then females, and you change back into warm clothes.
Nice.
And then the next hour comes along, and there's a guy that does our schedule.
Yeah.
So I just show up, and they're like, we're going to do 2 this hour, whatever.
You just do what you're told. Say, all right, well, I'll jump in the water then. So I assume if you're doing 24 jumps, you're not using the same outfit every time, right? Because it's cold and wet, so you have to just bring multiple changes.
Well, you bring 2 or 3, and then there's dryers on site. So,
okay.
And we have like a whole team that takes care of us.
Nice.
Whether it's cooking for us, running dryers. And that's one thing, we're really appreciative is those people that come down and help with that event, because without them, the back end, we would just throw clothes in there and we'd be wearing wet clothes.
Yeah, right.
So they take
on those
care
wet
of it.
Shorts are pretty bad.
And they throw them in the dryers, they get done, so we just keep rotating sets of clothes.
Now, out of the 24 super plungers this year, do you know all of them?
I know a majority of them. There's a couple new ones.
Okay.
I haven't met them yet. I've just seen them through the emails. So
now, do you guys have some good rivalry as far as I'm going to raise more than you are? Well, I've got so and so that's pledged so and so for me.
There's some that goes on. We have Zach Paul with KRCG and JT from over at. I'm not even going to try. 95 over in Versailles.
Yeah.
Those 2, they raise a lot of money.
Oh, that's great.
And then there's the local ones, Chris Wagner and our chief. He does it. So there's a little bit of banting back and forth.
Oh, I bet so. That's got to be pretty fun.
Last year, it was over $90,000 that just our super plungers were raised. So,
$90,000 for Special Olympics. That is
was just
amazing.
super plunger, so.
That is great.
This year, currently, we're sitting at, I thought I wrote it down here somewhere. Thought it was around 58,000 so far this year.
Wow.
Raised, so.
That is amazing. So again, how can people give to this event in any way that they can?
Again, go register. If you don't want to jump in, you don't have to do that either. You can come out the day of the event, which is the 25th of February. There'll be several events going on. There'll be a silent auction, chili cook-off, see people that want to wear a costume. And they'll go through a parade at 1:50, 2 o'clock, somewhere in there.
So it's not too late to get involved to do the jumping, right?
No.
To just do a plunge?
You can do any of it, whether you want to be a heat sponsor, get in the chili cook-off, do the plunge.
Wow, all sorts of things.
And then we also have Cops on Top. It'll be coming up February 17th.
Nice.
In Osage Beach at Hy-Vee Gas. It'll be from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. There'll be cops from Osage Beach PD, and I'm sure there'll be some other agencies there helping. We'll be on top of the building, freezing for a reason, and you can come by, drop money in the bucket.
Which that'll be quite warmer than the polar bear plunge,
it
right?
Typically is.
So the freezing is like, actually, from the polar bear plunge, this is kind of warm right now, like cold air, but it's not cold water.
There's been days I've been up there and it's been in the 60s, so it's a lot warmer than the water.
Yeah, oh, I bet so. I bet so. So the polar bear plunge is coming up, Osage Beach. It's the Public Beach 2. And it's coming up, so you can get more information online. Donate, be a part of it. Get some friends together and go out and get some costumes, possibly shorts and t-shirts. That you might want to do that. But I would suggest having a robe while you're standing in line waiting to plunge, so that way you can kind of stay warm. Then you can toss the robe off, run down, do the plunge. Well, Lieutenant Mike O'Day, thank you so much for coming out today and
no problem.
telling us about all the great events that we have coming up. And we have more with Happy Hour with DJ Kyle coming up.